Since I was a kid, there was many moves and movements within breaking that felt impossible and out of reach for me to achieve. But as I've grown more and more and gained more self-confidence, gained more experience within this movement form, I've found that they aren't actually impossible, and that's just a thought in my mind that's telling me, oh, I'm too old now, I didn't start young enough, I missed the wave, I missed the boat, quote unquote. But as I've been allowing myself more and more freedom to explore movement and to explore what really makes me happy and truly brings me joy within breaking, it's allowed me to really start exploring different things and really diving headfirst into specific things. And recently I've really realized that there's been a lot of mental blocks for me around certain moves and movements, and I have achieved a lot growing up. I was always a style head that was super scared and fearful of hurting myself and in disbelief that I could do anything strength related, or too flexibility focused because I wasn't naturally strong, I wasn't naturally flexible, and none of these things came to me naturally, but creativity and footwork and flow and all that did. So I dove into that head first, and I'm so thankful because that allowed me to get to where I am today and really gave me a place to feel like I had my own little spot in breaking. But the point of this series is for me to really dive into every move I've ever felt was impossible and every move I didn't believe that I could achieve, and to just knock those babies off the list one after the other after the other. So this is hopefully the first of many videos in this series where I show you guys the progression from where I start, or at least where I start documenting my start, and to the finish. I'm not trying to be the best and have the cleanest form and mastery of said movement. I just want to be able to say that I can perform it and perform a solid representation of it so that I can teach it, I can share it, and I can use it. I'm not looking for perfection here. I'm simply looking to prove to myself that I had disbelief in myself that I can actually physically do it, so that anyone else that runs that similar energy can do the same for them. It's interesting because as a teacher, I see many people starting from ground zero, and I think a lot of us, especially as we get older in breaking, we get stuck in this mindset of our cans and can'ts. Like, we can do this move and we can't do this move, and this is positive and this is negative. And it's pretty sad because there's a lot of moves and movements that we've played with for many years. Like, I'm not starting at level 0 with a lot of these moves because I've tried them in ways before, but I never mastered them because I believed once I started touching base with them that they were not something that would be reality for me in this lifetime at least. And that's just due to my own lack of confidence, my own lack of self-awareness and really faith and belief in myself. And I really want to show that you can have a move halfway done or a quarter of the way there for 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, whatever, and you can still then, after all that time, go back and achieve it. And that's another reason for this series, is I don't want to always start from ground zero, because I'm not. The reality is I have some of the basics and some of the foundations for some of these moves and movements I'm going to be doing, but I got stuck there. And sometimes being stuck in the middle ground and in that plateau is way more challenging than starting off at 0, because at 0 you can constantly see the progression forwards, but when you plateau is where most people quit, because that's when we stop seeing that progression, we stop getting our wins. And I really want to show that even if you're in that place, we can get ourselves out of it. So now that that's all said and done, let's talk about inverts a little bit. So inverts were a move I believed that I always needed extreme back flexibility for, and extreme shoulder flexibility and scapula flexibility, which is not fully wrong, but I realized that to at least get to where I needed to get to, I didn't really need more flat back flexibility, but I definitely needed more shoulder and scapula flexibility. but it wasn't just flexibility that I needed, it was strength, and it was active flexibility that I needed, which is engaged flexibility, right? It's not just being flexible there, it's knowing how to have strength there too. And the big reason why I stopped this a year ago was because when I got in a car accident last February, this was one of those moves that I was like, well, I'll never be able to get this now because my scapula is in direct contact with inverts and my scapula is injured, and that's where my chronic injury is. But through a year of rehab, or over a year of rehab, I've really gained a lot of strength there. And it's not like the discomfort, the pain, the soreness is fully gone, but I understand how to strengthen it, understand how to control it, understand how to be flexible there. And it definitely gets sore and labored way quicker than it did in the past, but I have learned how to work around that, and I have learned how to gain strength there. So I've definitely done a lot of strength training in my scapulas, which I think is what really allowed me to open up inverts and gain the strength to hold it without a wall. Because before I relied fully on the wall and I never thought I'd be able to get off the wall. But once I started really training my scapulas and I learned how to engage and control them, I was like, oh, they've unlocked now. Cool. Scared, bro. It's definitely easier without a mat though. Just scarier. Woo! Let's go, babe. I'm okay. Yo, floor is way easier. Holy. Guess I gotta deal without the mat, hey? Woo! No mats at all. Haha, baby, we got it.
Love is love. Love is love.